Welcome to the Amethyst Cup 1 vs 1 tournament. This is game 2. I am trapping Vin, and casting with me is Rhahi.
Hello. So this is not maybe it's expensive, robotic, and scientific nomad, and it looks typical IO game with a lot of resources, and there's a lot of founds available with these puzzles.
Yes, there's 5 carbon tiles. However, there are also core samples. There's plenty of basalt, plenty of oxygen. There's no reason to fun with depth here, I think. And it's an electronics colony, which might... well, I don't know. Do you want a glass faction or an electronics faction right here? I'm not sure.
I would go for glass because you can just go into glass and sell them for the early money.
So early money is in steel, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
my favorite scientist.
Or expensive is the easy choice here because scientific is always neat in IO, and expensive is like all around doable.
So twodback, I wasn't looking at this found because it doesn't have as good aluminum and it's farther away from carbon, but it is closer to the colony. Maybe that's something. I would have preferred, I think, closer to the carbon and the higher aluminum, but we'll see. It's not bad by any means. He has what he needs right here. So, as we said, the money was in oxygen and steel. Let's see what to do with that. Yes, on the other hand.
On the other hand, Senzar has found it on a scientific with a little bit good enough oxygen patch. It's the formation is a bit awkward to use, and large enough patch of basalt lake, which is going to be very important in scientific game for scientific because you can extract oxygen out of this. First aggression on steel mill from Senzar.
Oh, I just noticed this. twodback went metal mines instead of basalt. I guess you can wait with basalt because Senzar won't do it either, but I hope it does eventually go into basalt. It's like free silicon, free hacks, and free uranium, which you can then hack.
Free uranium, free silicon, and silicon is at 40. It's definitely worthwhile going to basalt at this point in the game.
Oh, risky EMP from twodback, but he gets lucky, does not hit the goon. I would much prefer to freeze the building glass kiln. It's more efficient. Because now this other one will finish creating the adjacency bonus. If he throws this one, the building one, then this one will be running on its own as a black magic tile, which is not that good. But either way, it's really good for him that he didn't land on the goon squad. It's always risky to hit the scientist early, because scientists start with the goon squad. Oh, lots of aggression. Continuous
aggression from each other, and I mean, this is... I'm not sure about the aggression at this point. I would just hold on to the EMPs and wait for them to build the power or glass because that's going to make money. Right now, they both are running steel and almost steel only. I mean, they built a little bit something else, but it's not built yet. And still, it's just not making money. You're just going to use it and consume it and build other resources.
Yeah, so just to illustrate my point, this guy now is working with 50% adjacency bonus. If you targeted the EMP here instead, this guy will be running with no adjacency bonus. But yes, Senzar has the money income going with these last skins now. And I think this is a game about who makes power money.
Yep. Both players has spent their time in the early game doing EMPs, which means they delayed their power production. And because IO being IO, power goes often crazy, and we are just seeing that happening.
So Senzar goes for the claim into a nuclear plant instead of upgrading into a goon nuclear plant. We'll see how that pays off. So it's a black magic nuclear plant, a single nuclear plant in the middle of the basalt lake. I'm not sure about this. So twodback knows where the goon is after the EMP hit. So he knows he can hit this nuclear plant if he wants. Although he probably wants his own goon on his own nuclear plants. Because he's expensive, he'll build cheaper nuclear plants. What? Just for silicon cores?
Silicon is okay money boost because it doesn't have much money to build anything else.
Okay.
But he should go into power very, very soon.
Yeah.
like, as soon as possible.
I don't like the Geo. Like, you should just...
Yeah.
Oh, circuit overload. I don't know.
Okay, with that play, Geo might be... I mean, Geo is slow to build.
Yeah, and also it's harder to defend. Like, you can build 3 nuclear plants in a line and defend them all with 1 goon.
Yeah.
But if you defend the Geo, you're only defending 1 power tile instead of 3.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, like, he doesn't need these metal mines or even these steel mills.
Yeah, he should scrap like 2 steel mill and go into double nuclear plant.
Yeah, or
because
like
the power is 300.
Yeah, I know. Scrap on both sides and build 2 pairs of nuclear plants. That way you can't even be black marketed. Scrap 2 metal mines, scrap 2 steel mills, build 4 nuclear plants. That's the play right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the punish. I knew this would happen. That's why I didn't like it.
On the other hand, Senzar has this circuit of the steel mills, and they're still running, making minus 126 revenue.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
This should definitely go off.
Yeah. This is up to Senzar. He can choose to turn this off, and he should, but yeah, it's hard to do under tournament pressure for sure. And I don't know, nobody's reacting to it. So in 50 seconds, there's a sulfur frost. If they don't build these power buildings now, this power price is gonna reach $500.
Yep, and this is going to be a very quick power game.
Yeah, like, I don't know, both people are underestimating power.
No, you should. It's a time for going like 6 nuclear plants. I mean, if you can afford the steel, that is, and they could have afforded it, especially expensive.
Yeah. Twodback goes for I'm sorry, I'm frustrated right now. Can you guys see the power? Is your UI bugged? Come on, guys. I'm so stressed for them. Okay, now Senzar's circuit overload went off, so now it's making $1,400 worth of power a second. And in 17 seconds, there's the sulfur frost. They will not be able to build new buildings.
And even more, in 25 seconds, we will have... Oh, sorry. I was going to say about the superconductor, but I guess it's not going to happen.
Alright, sulfur frost is here. For 90 seconds, no building is going to be built. And Senzar is producing almost 3 power per second to Twodback's 0.75. Twodback should have a black market up, and he needs to do that, yeah.
Look at this geothermal plant being built so slowly.
Sulfur frost is not kind.
And it turns out dynamite is very effective when the geo is in sulfur frost. So Twodback is in -1, -2 power, and Senzar is in even power.
Yeah, I don't. Does this stress you out, or is it just me?
I'm fine.
I start getting anxious when power is like 200, and it's almost 400.
Well, let's see who has more plans for this power.
So I'm not sure how much money this represents. Like, if you made infinite power right now, how much money would you make from power until it hits $1? But so Twodback has a debt of 150k. I'm sure this is enough to pay all of that off if it just starts producing. There we go, triple solar panel. That's something. This will still be night when these come out, but it'll work soon. But yeah, Senzar, 14 seconds from superconductor. That's like just gonna end the game.
Yep. And he's in AA that rating that is going to dry out so fast.
Here we go. So making 3k a second.
1.2k per reactor.
Actually, now in Dawn, Twodback is matching it, but he is 100k behind in debt. And like, so Senzar will have 100k, not even Twodback has 0 money. Yeah, this should be Senzar's game. Oh yeah, that's good for the upgrade instead of the kill though.
Yeah, he could have gone for the kill, I think, with the assist of this food money.
Alright, finally power's dropping below 200. I'm less anxious now. So,
alright, we are going for long games, I guess.
Senzar denying patents, which is always a nice move when you have your own patent lab. Actually, twodback also denied his patent. Okay, they're both denying each other's patents, which is very reasonable. Patents are very strong on IO. Probably looking at synthetic meat.
Synthetic meat is okay. Nanotech is also very good because of this electronics and steel.
Well,
other than that, I'm not looking for anything much.
I do hope that twodback goes into some carbon claims on the last HQ, and it's kind of not okay that carbon is $20 when twodback has never had any.
Also, he should have an extra ion collector so that he has more than 1.2 production.
Yeah.
In IO, you should have at least 2 ion collectors running 24/7 unless power is 400, because ion, the fuel price is very volatile and you can take advantage of it when you happen to have stockpile when it's rising, and it happens a lot.
Absolutely. So what do you think about both of these players' unwillingness to buy goon squads? Is this the 1 versus 1 meta?
I don't think so.
Because it makes them really unafraid to hit stuff. They know, like, the only goon is here, and both players know that. Like, they can just hit anything they want at any time until somebody buys a goon squad.
Although at this point, like, EMP is now 16k or 14k depending on who you are, and goon is 3k, so it's reasonable to just go for goons now and wait for the bounce.
Well, Senzar's solidly ahead after that power money, like we expected. He's the whole HQ ahead. He has double optimizations, his patents, he has the... what are these called? Pressure domes? Looking great for Senzar.
Yeah, he's well set up for a long game. Although twodback also, I mean, except for this, he's still in HQ4, he's about to upgrade. He's not too that behind. He has one extra stocks, which means they are kind of even on money.
Yeah, it's not impossible comeback, but it's not great.
Yeah, it is not great, but it's doable.
Yeah. So Senzar won the.
He does need to go into puzzles. You can't.
Oh yeah. He could be. Nobody's in any uranium. This is painful. This is painful. So, what you could do with basalt, like, you'd get better iron, although you pay more power for it. Better because it's not affected by the event. But anyway, what you mostly get is silicon and uranium, and because your opponent is scientist, he's probably not going to have basalt platforms. So you can just hack it up. Force your opponent to do something about it. And like, it doesn't cost you like almost anything. Basalt platform is 5 electronics and 10 steel.
Ooh, look at this radiation storm. And people are selling fuel right now. You should sell more fuel.
Yeah, twodback needs to be auto-selling fuel. So what this does is causes your ion collectors to work twice as good. And reduce shipping capacity so there's more ships being sent.
I think if Senzar was acting a bit more quickly, he might have threatened twodback with that majority buyout.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to go HQ5. This could be over by now, but he's still doing great, so it's fine. There we see our first space elevator. We know this because aluminum spikes. It's built by Senzar, and I'm not super impressed by the Offworld market right now.
Yeah, I think it's prime time to optimize chemical and electronics, not instead of Offworld.
Yeah, for sure. He's not even using his optimizations there. Oh, he does have 2 pips in chemicals, which is great. There we go, electronics also. Very, very nice. Twodback preparing to go off-world. I know this because I can see his aluminum claims. And getting transparent aluminum, but it's still like a long way off.
Sled drilling from Senzar. What does he want from sled drilling though?
It allows him to finish the triangle of chemicals and gives him more aluminum.
Actually, what he could have done was buy this core sample, put it on the chemical next to it, and you just don't need to invest money for the sled drilling.
Absolutely could have done that. So, patent-wise, Senzar has everything except liquid batteries. I mean, that's not true. Of all the patents that somebody has, Senzar has all of them except liquid batteries, which belongs to twodback. Twodback is going for synthetic meat, while Senzar moved out of his patent lab. I'm a bit surprised about that from Senzar, because virtual reality would pay itself off pretty nicely, I think. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Well, it's only 30 camps. Yeah, it
impressive.
definitely... maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know.
It depends on what you can do with the extra claim you get from refunding it. Like you can get one more aluminum on the patent lab tile that used to be, and you can take advantage of 100 aluminum price.
And I like this. So, we see the hackery from twodback. Twodback is known in the Offworld community as the scavenger who hacks things. And sure, he's not a scavenger, but hey, he still wants to hack things. So what can he do with this? I mean, I pointed out aluminum multiple times, but he has no claims now, and it's not in basalt. So he's kind of missing the easiest hack. What else can he do? Not electronics. Silicon? Oh yeah, Senzar is not in any silicon. Although
silicon is...
twodback isn't making
doesn't
silicon.
have silicon production either.
But he could do it. His electronics factories are on top of silicon. Meanwhile, Senzar getting his second Offworld, what are these called? Space elevator. Launching some oxygen and fuel. Yeah, let's see what he hacks.
Right.
Steel.
Steel? Oh. That is an option. I mean, so he does have nanotechnology, and he's the only one producing steel.
No,
So-
Senzar has nanotechnology. So the thing is, when you do this hack, you should not buy into it, because that can be punished using nano. But he does have a solid stockpile.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
twodback
don't
is solidly
see
behind.
much-
Then he needs a miracle.
Yeah, I don't see much hacking angles either. There might be... what I would do is, when I don't know what to hack, I just surplus things. But surplusing is not good when your opponent is in double off-road.
Senzar covered his weakness of lacking silicon by making 2 basalt platforms. And these... oh wow, look at this. $214 per second
Wow,
each.
it's even better than Electronics Factory.
Yeah, it's better than everything except the Offworlds and Ion Collector right now.
Yeah.
Matching chemical for it. Yeah. So this is what twodback could have had all game. It could have hacked uranium. Anyway, let's see. This is the first steel hack going in. Does he buy into it? While all this happens, Senzar took a solid lead on the stock market, and he's really, really nice position.
I remember my first one of my games when I played against Cat, and like I was in a losing situation and I needed a miracle to win. So I hacked chemical. I super bought into chemical because I'm losing anyway. And it turns out she had stockpile and she just won.
Cat reacted to in chat with a Katrina sad. I missed a lot of chat actually. Never mind. It's fine. So actually, yeah, there's nothing to cost now, right? It's just over.
Yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for Senzar to make enough money.
I'm gonna read the backlog of chat.
And twodback is going to triple hacker array. Triple miracle.
Oh, it was so much chat. Jeez. Sorry, guys.
Right, this only needs 100k. So let's review what's the prices are and why that happens. So we have a very, very high carbon prices. It's because in IO you have diminishing resource production. Primary resource production. So carbon is not going to be enough in single tile. You always need 2 tiles by default and more, sometimes even more. So going to double quarry, Senzar has enough to cover the carbon cost and have enough right now, but that is the recent news. Like until a few minutes ago, they were probably like even or in deficit. That's why we have this 200 prices. Oh, and twodback concedes and Senzar wins.
Alright, well played to Senzar. I didn't even have time to catch up on the chat, but yeah, but just Blues and Cad mostly, and Tufting the Go and DT discussing the games. Very nice. Yeah, so solid. I would say this was all on the back of power. Senzar got there with the superconductor. Not super convincing. That it waited so long to take advantage of power, but a solid closure after they finally did it. Alright, so twodback banned IO, unsurprisingly. And then Senzar banned Mars. So the round 3 will be played on Sirius.